I thought it'd be kind of fun to do something unique this episode. We're going to actually kind of go through the Marvel MCU timeline through an app, a drawing app that I have on my iPad called ProCreate. We're actually going to do a delve deep dive. What exactly is going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let me get my brushes ready. Let's see. I want to use paint. Use red. Okay. So if we look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a timeline, so if we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a timeline, everything's going good. Everything's kind of going here. Even when we had the events of Avengers, so we have the events of Avengers, and even when they did do some of the timeline here, they branched it off, except for the Loki event, which we saw in Loki. But even then, Loki was supposed to say, okay, this was all supposed to happen. So the branch was supposed to go in the MCU timeline, this main line right here. Kind of wish I had sound effects to go along with this. But as you saw, as the events of Loki happened, after the events of Loki, it started to branch off into different branches. And that's what they call the multiverse, where endless possibilities are happening. Just draw a few branches here. So this is like the Loki point. Then we have the What If series. If you haven't watched the Marvel What If series, I highly recommend on Disney Plus that you watch this What If series, because it's showing classic Marvel characters in not so classic situations. So we've had 3 of these happening so far with the What If series. And I believe we're going to have 7 episodes. But here's the thing that they're talking about. What if it's in continuity? Which kind of is kind of weird when you think about it, that everything going on in Marvel, the what if Captain Carter, happy little alternate universe. What if Captain Carter, Agent Carter became Captain Carter? What if we also had T'Challa became Star-Lord? What if Earth lost its mightiest heroes were just premiered? So we've had those 3. So let's say those are the blue. Then we're going to have more multi what if episodes. So that's the timeline of the MCU right now. We'll call it the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'll add some clouds right here. Some nice little clouds. Happy little clouds. Now we'll add a layer of additional complexity. I'm going to use yellow. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to use a bigger size brush because it looks like the events of Spider-Man takes the multiverse and just starts creating branches that intersect, weave. Everything kind of goes into chaos. As you can see right here, you have timelines that fall back in itself, they collapse. You also have to look that Dr. Octopus is from the Sony branch of the multiverse. So if you had the Sony properties and the Fox X-Men movies, and you have the MCU, they're all supposed to be separate. But so whatever happens in Spider-Man from the Loki thing kind of kept it self-contained, as you had from here to here, all within that Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what happens now is the timeline. I'm having way too much fun with this than I should. Flat brush. So the timeline is skewing the Marvel movies, the Sony properties. Everything begins to have branching in and out. That's why we're going to have the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness. There's rumors to, and then the MC Happy alternate universe. Having too much fun aside, drawing that roadmap pretty much means that, to me, Marvel still knows what they're doing in terms of Phase 4. When Phase 3 got done with Avengers Endgame, and then we had the Spider-Man, what I call the epilogue, I didn't know where the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and probably most of the fans didn't know. We had ideas what we wanted. I was ready to drop off, but having now this multiverse that was introduced in Loki, which was actually hinted at the Vision and Scarlet Witch or WandaVision show, then coming back to Loki, and now having What If kind of exploring these timelines, Marvel is doing everything for a reason. They have mapped out their whole stories as we go in their movies, in their Disney Plus television. There's a lot of innuendos about who is the lawyer representing Peter Parker. Is it the actor that played Daredevil, playing Daredevil again? We saw Doc Ock from the Sony Spidey movies. Is there other characters that we don't know about? Is there going to be cameos by the two actors, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who played Spider-Man in 2 of the Sony franchises? Marvel they definitely have a roadmap, and it might not be as cool as mine looks, but I guarantee they know what's going on with their timeline. So just remember, when you're watching these shows and these series being announced and the timing, everything is happening for a reason. So when it comes to timeline, it is quite confusing, but it's very fun to just kind of think about. Which brings me to my Delve Pop question of the day. Have you been able to make sense of all this timeline talk? And definitely let me know in the comments. We have so much going on, whether it's a movie trailer, a re-release of a game that you played 25 years ago, but new mechanics are introduced. And just when you think you know it or you can figure out where it's going, they change something. And even if you think you absolutely know it, let's see how they execute it. Let's see how they bring it to fruition. And that way we can kind of enjoy the moment. That's really what another reason I love pop culture is, just because we know, or we think we know how something is going to happen or what mechanic is going to be. How do they achieve it? And then that's why we sit at the movie theaters, we play games, we watch trailers, because you never know when they'll shake up the paradigm, and we can just say, oh, I never thought of doing that, or I never thought I was doing this, or I'm glad that they brought this character back. That's why I enjoy pop culture. So I want to thank you all for watching this episode of Delve Live. Just remember to follow us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Leave me a comment in the comment sections what type of coverage you'd like to see. In the next couple weeks, I'll be covering some more Transformers, because there's some announcements that we're going to get here pretty soon on new figures. And definitely we'll be starting back up my Now Playing, where there's a couple of games that I want to get to and discuss while we're playing. So thank you for watching. Until next time, delve on.